The PADI Open Water course is your lifetime pass to the underwater world, and it all begins here at your very first confined water training dive. We've put this series together for one reason: to show you exactly and properly how to get the most out of your PADI Open Water training, making you the best diver possible and setting you on the path of success. Before getting in the water, we will look at equipment preparation, getting into your scuba equipment, and learn the pre-dive safety checks with a buddy. Now let's get started with equipment assembly. First, you will need an air cylinder. Inspect the tank for any dents or damage. Check the hydrostatic and visual inspection test dates. Remove the cap and inspect the O-ring on the tank valve. The O-ring should look smooth with no corrosion or tears. Now it's time to attach the BCD. Slide the straps on the back of the BCD over the top of the cylinder and down. The tank valve should be facing the back of the BCD. Place the safety strap over the tank valve and secure the main tank band. The strap will be about 4 fingers down from the writing on the tank, and the top of the BCD should be level with the tank valve. Now you can attach your first stage. The first stage will have 4 hoses coming from it. Have the regulators on the right side of the BCD, and the SPG and low pressure inflator hose on the left side of the BCD. Loosen the yoke screw, remove the dust cap, and align the first stage to the tank valve. You should feel these two fit into place. Tighten the yoke screw, securing the first stage to the valve. Do not over tighten. Now you can connect the low pressure inflator hose to your BCD. Use the built-in features on your BCD to streamline the hoses. Streamline the alternate regulator, making sure the hose is tucked away and secure. We are now ready to open the air. Hold on to your SPG and face it down, away from yourself and others. Begin with short turns. Allow the air to slowly release, and then fully open the cylinder by turning the handle all of the way. Check your starting pressure. This should be about 200 bar or 3000 psi. Remember to protect and take care of your equipment by laying it down when it's not in use. This is the easiest way to put on your scuba equipment with a buddy. Before putting on your BCD, put your weight belt on. The buckle should come around from your left side, allowing a right hand release. Pulling on the excess tail with your right hand will release the buckle. Make sure the buckle is secure. Have your buddy lift your scuba equipment by the straps or the tank valve. Remember, never hold on to the first stage when lifting the equipment. Turn around and place your arms through the shoulder straps. Your buddy will hold up the BCD and cylinder while you tighten all of the straps and buckles. Start at the bottom with the stomach strap, cummerbund, and buckle. Work your way up to the straps on either shoulder. Now you can secure the chest strap buckle at the top of the BCD. Check that all of your equipment is in the proper place and the BCD feels snug and comfortable on your body. Finally, you can return the favor and do the same for your buddy. And now it's time to begin your buddy checks. Before we go scuba diving, it's important to make sure that all of your equipment is safe and working correctly. To do that, we use a buddy check system following the acronym BWRAF. The easiest way to remember this is begin with review and friend. B stands for BCD. Test the power inflator and deflate button on your buddy's LPI. And make sure the BCD bladder is holding the air inside. Now, check your own BCD for manual oral inflation. Find all of your dump valves and test them by gently pulling on the cord to vent the air from inside the BCD. Next is W for weights. Make sure that you and your buddy have the correct amount of weight, confirm the placement of your weights, and double check that they are secure. R stands for releases. These are the straps and buckles that hold your equipment in place. Check that all of your releases are secure and comfortable. The chest strap, the shoulder straps, and the stomach straps. There are 2 more important releases on the back. Check that your safety strap is around the tank valve and that the main tank band is secure. Give the tank a gentle shake, making sure that it won't slip. Now it's time to check your air. Make sure the handle is turned all the way and the tank is fully open. Breathe from both regulators while looking at the SPG. Check that the indicator needle remains consistent. You can breathe from your primary regulator while your buddy breathes from the alternate regulator at the same time. Return the regulators and make sure the hoses are tucked away safe and streamlined. To finish things off, F is your final checks. Make sure that you and your buddy have your mask, snorkel, and fins, and you're ready to go diving. Now standing in shallow water, we will practice using the BCD power inflation and deflate features. Remember, you can add and remove air into the BCD, assisting you in buoyancy control. This is done with your low pressure inflator hose, also known as the LPI, which can be found on your left shoulder. Locate your LPI with your left hand and find the inflate button on the side. Press down and hold this button, adding air from your tank into the BCD bladder. This skill can be done with your snorkel. However, switching to your regulator will provide additional comfort and confidence. Fully inflate the BCD and relax. You can see how you are floating on the surface effortlessly. Standing up again, it's time to remove the air from your BCD. You can do this by locating that LPI on your left side and elevating it, ensuring that the air can escape from the highest point. Now you can remove the air by pressing down and holding the deflate button, located at the top end of the hose, and notice that you are no longer positively buoyant. Again, press the inflate button to immediately add air back into the BCD. It's impossible to overinflate the BCD. Keep holding down this button until you hear the vent releasing air from the back. This means that the BCD is filled completely, and again, you're positively buoyant. Now before going underwater, you will practice breathing from the regulator on the surface. Take your time as you get comfortable with the regulator. Standing in shallow water, you will put your face in the water and breathe naturally. Always inhaling and exhaling and never holding your breath. Remain calm and slow your breathing down. Getting comfortable with this now will keep you relaxed on your dives, lower your overall air consumption, and improve your buoyancy control. Now you're ready for your first underwater skills. Regulator clearing, regulator recovery, clearing a partially flooded mask, and breathing from an alternate air source. Clearing water from your regulator is one of the most important skills for new divers. It's easy for you to master, and there are 2 easy methods for you to choose from. First is the exhalation method. When you're ready, take a breath in. With your right hand, remove the regulator. Blow a constant stream of small bubbles, because the most important rule of scuba diving is to never hold your breath. Keep the mouthpiece of the regulator facing down. This will prevent a free flow. Place the regulator back in your mouth and strongly exhale, blasting air through the regulator. The water will clear and you can resume normal breathing. Method number 2 is the purge button method. Repeat the steps for method 1. Remember to keep blowing bubbles and to keep the mouthpiece of the regulator facing down. Replace the regulator in your mouth and press the purge button on the front of the regulator. Breathe in and resume normal breathing. Choose the method that you prefer. Now with Regulator clearing mastered, we can take this skill and apply it directly to Regulator recovery. You can master this skill quickly with these easy steps. When you're ready, take a breath in. With your right hand, remove the regulator. Blow a constant stream of small bubbles. Keep the mouthpiece of the regulator facing down. Drop the regulator behind your right shoulder. Lift your right arm and lean to the right, creating a gap between you and the regulator. Sweep down along the side of your body, touching your leg, and then the tank, and then swing your arm out and to the front. With your left hand, recover the regulator hose that is now hanging over your right arm. Place the regulator back in your mouth and clear it using the method of your choice. Knowing how to clear your mask underwater will save your dives and help you see the underwater world. Let's learn how you can become a master of this skill quickly. Keep breathing calmly. When you're ready, gently break the seal on the top of your mask. Go slow. A small amount of water will enter the mask. Before the water gets to your eyes, let go of the mask and let it seal back to your face. Press down on the top frame of the mask and look down to the ground. Breathe in. Now look up to the sky and exhale through your nose. You can see how the water easily escapes through the bottom of the mask. Let go of the mask and resume normal breathing. We will now begin learning how to safely handle emergency situations, beginning with how to share your alternate air source. In this skill, you will perform both roles. The first diver will signal they are out of air by making a big sweeping motion across the neck. The donor will provide the alternate air source. Hold it by the hose so the regulator is not blocked. Turn it right side up so the mouthpiece is on top and facing the diver in need. The out-of-air diver will switch regulators. Remember to keep the mouthpiece facing down and blow a constant stream of bubbles, never holding your breath. Clear the regulator with the method of your choice. Then establish contact by using the Roman handshake, holding on to each other's forearms. Breathe from the alternate air source for at least 30 seconds, and when complete, signal OK, ready to ascend. With your left hand, elevate your inflator hose, holding it up to the sky, and simulate your ascent. Remember to keep your finger close to the deflate button, ready to vent excess air as you ascend. With these skills mastered, we can now go into deeper water, which means it's also time to learn the controlled descent. Once we go down, we will practice swimming with our scuba equipment, demonstrate hand signals, reading our pressure gauge and communicating air supply, and then we'll learn how to ascend safely. But first, let's learn how to descend with control, equalizing our ears and mask. With a buddy, you will signal OK to go down. Remember to put the regulator in your mouth and elevate the LPI. Remember the inflate and deflate skill from just a few minutes ago. Hold the LPI vertically, allowing the air to escape from the BCD. Press down on the deflate button and fully exhale. Remember, you can prevent feeling pressure by equalizing your ears early and often, before feeling discomfort. It's important that you descend very slowly. You can equalize at least every 1 meter or 3 feet. One way to do this is by lightly pinching your nose and very gently exhaling through your nose. Do this very calmly. A short and gentle exhale will relieve the pressure you feel in your ears. This technique is called the Valsalva maneuver, and your instructor will teach you how to do this in more detail. If your mask feels tight, you can equalize that space by simply exhaling through your nose. Continue descending slowly. Stay close to your buddy and communicate often. When your descent is complete, once again, check in with your buddy. Now underwater, you will become more comfortable swimming in your scuba equipment while maintaining control of both direction and depth. With your buddy, swim around the confined water area. Staying close to your buddy and regular communication are crucial. Pay attention to your breathing, inhaling and exhaling, never holding your breath. This will help you maintain control of your depth and buoyancy. Your BCD should be close-fitting and comfortable. This will also help with your position in the water. Remember the releases on your BCD. Adjusting the stomach strap and the shoulder straps will keep your BCD snug and fitting comfortably. A horizontal trim position will keep your body relaxed, lower your air consumption, and improve your control of direction and depth. Getting into this habit early is one of the keys to success in scuba diving. Impress your instructor by practicing keeping your hands held together. We never need to use our hands for swimming. Develop the habit of keeping your hands steady and streamlined with your body. Focus on your kicking and finning techniques for propulsion and controlling your direction. As always, remember to keep checking in with your buddy. Scuba divers rely heavily on hand signals for communication. Let's take a look at a few of the signals you'll be using most often during the PADI Open Water course. Can you understand what these two are saying? Let's break it down. First, you already know this sign. It means okay. This can be both a question and an answer. Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. But maybe you need help and you don't want to respond okay. You can signal problem by tilting your hand from side to side, as shown here. This means I have a problem. You can then point to the problem. For example, I have a problem equalizing my ears. Or I have a problem with my mask. Now, let's look at a few more hand signals that you will see from your instructor, especially during skill practice. Here we have stop, showing an open palm. This means stop what you're doing. Before demonstrating a skill, your instructor will show this sign, you watch me. If they tap on their forehead like this, it means remember. This could be used to remind you how to perform a skill. If you need to repeat a skill, or the instructor wants you to do something again, it is commonly shown by circling your two fingers like this, meaning repeat or do that again. Scuba diving is a very relaxing activity, and it's meant to be done calmly. Gently waving your hand to and from the regulator like this is signaling to breathe in and breathe out. Normalize your breathing. Inhale fully and exhale completely. Holding your hand palm out and waving down like this means slow down or calm down. If you're using too much energy or breathing quickly and heavily, these are the signals that you will see. Take a minute to slow your breathing down and relax. Touching both fingers together like this means get close to your buddy. It's always a good idea to stay close to your buddy and avoid separation. If you see this sign, a thumbs up, in scuba diving, pointing up with your thumb like this means are you ready to ascend or let's go up. However, if you do want to give a thumbs up, consider liking this video and subscribe to be notified for more helpful scuba diving videos. Pointing down with your thumb like this means, are you ready to descend? Let's go down. You may also see a variation of these hand signals. Pointing up into an open palm like this means come up to my level. Pointing your thumb down into an open palm means come down to my level. Swiping both hands flat, palm down like this means stay at my level. Finally, making a C shape with one hand and swiping your other hand flat through the middle space is the signal for neutrally buoyant. When signaling to add or remove air from the BCD, there are a few ways your instructor can easily communicate this. To add air, they simply point at the inflator button on the LPI and make a pressing motion similar to this. You may also see an addition to this with two fingers close together, signifying add only a small amount of air. The signal to remove air from the BCD is to mimic the action by elevating the LPI and with your right hand using the first finger to make a circular venting motion near the top. During the PADI Open Water course, you will develop the habit of regularly checking and communicating your air supply. Your instructor will be asking you how much air you have remaining, and it's your responsibility to also be checking often and recognize adequate air limits. Showing an open palm and tapping two fingers against it like this is asking how much air do you have in your tank. You can locate your submersible pressure gauge, commonly referred to as the SPG, on the left side of your BCD. It shows how much air is remaining in our tank. In our case, air is measured in bar, and a full tank is 200 bar. You may also see this measured as PSI, or pounds per square inch. A full tank is 3000 PSI. If you have 100 bar, which is a half tank, you can signal that by making a T shape with both hands just like this, meaning you have a half tank or 100 bar. If you have more than a half tank, let's say you have 170 bar, you can signal that by first making the T showing 100 and then hold up individual fingers for each additional amount of 10. So if you have 170 bar, you will signal T for 100 and then show 7 fingers. Let's do a few more. 110 bar, you signal T and then hold up 1 finger. Now, if you have less than 100 bar, you will count with your fingers only. Very simply, if you have 90 bar, hold up 9 fingers. If you have 50 bar, this is considered low on air. You can signal that by making a fist and tapping it against your chest like this. However, you can see that 50 bar and below is in the red zone of the gauge. This is because we will surface with 50 bar remaining in the tank as reserve air for safety. The signal for sharing air is to place your fingers at your regulator and motion with your hand back and forth toward your buddy's regulator. Finally, in the highly unlikely situation you are out of air, you will use your entire arm to make a giant sweeping motion across your neck like this. You want to make this sign very obvious. Show this signal and remain calm as you secure an alternate air supply from your buddy. However, by following your training carefully, you can not only prevent this situation, but also learn how to respond effectively. It's time to ascend from your very first confined water dive. A controlled ascent is important for your safety. We will learn the techniques needed to increase control, ascend slowly and safely, and become positively buoyant at the surface. Finally, we will look at the BCD oral inflation skill after our ascent. When you are ready to ascend, get close to your buddy and signal OK to ascend. With your left hand, elevate your LPI and hold your finger over the deflate button. Lift your right hand high up above your head and look up to the surface, making sure that it is safe to ascend and there are no hazards above you. Our maximum ascent rate is no faster than 18 meters or 60 feet per minute. You want to ascend as slowly as possible. Remember, as you get closer to the surface, the air inside your BCD expands, causing you to ascend faster. You can prevent this by pressing on the deflate button, releasing small amounts of air from the BCD as you ascend. Keep your LPI vertical and finger close to the button. Continue looking up during your ascent and releasing air from the BCD as needed to remain in control. Keep your right hand held high over your head as you approach the surface. Once your head is above water, continue breathing from the regulator. The first thing you want to do is become positively buoyant. Press down and hold the inflate button while the BCD fills with air completely. Continue holding down the button until you hear the vent releasing air at the back of the BCD. You are now positively buoyant. Switch from your regulator to your snorkel and the skill is complete. Finally, to complete your first confined water dive, you will also master using oral inflation of the BCD. In the highly unlikely event that there is an issue using power inflation, you can manually inflate the BCD by breathing into the LPI hose. To do this, first make sure you put your regulator into your mouth. Elevate your LPI and prepare to release all of the air from the BCD. You will need to use your feet, continuously kicking to stay on the surface while orally inflating. When you're ready, start kicking and then release all of the air from the BCD. Breathe in and remove the regulator with your right hand. Bring the LPI to your mouth and seal your lips around the mouthpiece. Next, press down on the deflate button. At the same time, you will exhale, breathing air into the LPI hose. Pressing down on the deflate button allows the air to enter the BCD. Let go to trap the air inside. Now you can repeat this process. Remove the mouthpiece and inhale, taking a breath in. Seal your lips around the mouthpiece. Press down on the deflate button. Exhale, breathing air into the BCD. Let go of the deflate button. Take the mouthpiece out of your mouth and inhale. Repeat this process as many times as needed until the BCD is filled with air completely and you are positively buoyant. Remember to continue kicking during the entirety of this process. Once you are floating at the surface, switch back to your snorkel and the skill is complete. Congratulations! You've just completed your very first confined water dive of the PADI Open Water course, and you are well on your way to becoming a certified diver. If you're ready to learn more, subscribe now and stay tuned for part 2 of this series as we continue to take you through the open water course into confined water dive number 2.